Welcome. This is the 10th in a series of videos demonstrating the use of two software packages, pfodDesigner and pfodApp. Now today I'm going to be using my stylus to show the touches on the screen. So you can see right there now I'm touching right above Designer and right above a pfodApp there I'm touching. And today what we're going to do is jump straight into pfodApp. And when I finished number 9 or around the end of number 9, video 9 on my my tutorials here, I had mentioned that when I did video 10, I said that I was going to do an example of how to do things. Well, what I've done is how to do things in terms of code and whatnot and putting it together. But what I've decided to do is do number 10 with a little bit more on what can be done, because that's what number 9 was about. Video 9 was about what can be done with the graphics. So number 10 is going to be a little bit more about what can be done with the graphics. And when we get into number 11, video 11, we're going to start with showing the different things that can be done, the coding, and what you got to do with the software to get certain things done. So on this particular example that we've got in front of us here, this menu, there's quite a bit going on here. First of all, I designed this over several days, and I designed it in 5 separate segments. Now what I mean by segments is right there. I'm clicking below segment 1. Right now there I'm clicking below segment 2, and clicking below segment 3, and now segment 4, and of course segment 5 down here. Now what I did there is I just went ahead and made these separate segments, and I just offset them in relationship to the top of the screen, the top of the graph. And then when I put all 5 together, I use that push 0, which you can refer to in video 7. I talk about video. Well, in video 7, we touch on and talk about push 0 and pop 0 and how it's a very powerful function, and the scaling and whatnot and how it can be used. So you can refer back to video 7 on that. But when I put this together, I just offset them accordingly, as per what I needed with using push 0. No offsetting was needed on the columns, and no offsetting was needed. There's no scaling offset. There's no scaling needing, but I did have rows. I did offset on the rows. So this particular graphic, there's quite a bit going on. I've got down here in segment 3, where I got depth, pH, dissolved oxygen content. These are fictitious parameters of the the water sampling craft in section 2 that I'm or should I say segment 2 there, segment 2, section 2, whatever. That's a little a little fictitious example of my watercraft. I've got latitude and longitude here for the craft. I've got all these readings will be on a 5-second sample update. These fictitious readings. Extend sensor pack will be dropping over here. We'll be dropping this here little sensor package here. This little arc there, this little orange arc will be dropping out of the the so-called sensor pack here that I've got labeled. That's supposed to be again, that's a rendition of my watercraft. A side view sitting in the canal. Move sensor to sensor number 1. That button down there, in the bottom right there, or near the bottom right, that'll be to that'll move the watercraft to a position about over here on the graph. Then there's going to be some hiding and showing the different an ambient view and a side view. That's basically got to do with very powerful functions called hide and unhide, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to it. So for now, I guess what we'll do is there's also there's going to be a string input up here right when I click on enter name to the right here where I'm clicking right now, and also to the left here is going to be a numeric input. Set the water depth. So the very first thing we'll do here is we'll go ahead and we'll do a string input. So I'll click on enter name, and we'll go ahead. I'm going to call this. I guess I was going to call it canal test 1. Good. And that name should pop up there. Yep. Okay. Now I'm going to go down there to the bottom left, and I'm going to click on set side view water depth. So this is a numeric input, and this here has to be put in terms of centimeters. So I'm going to put in 390 centimeters, which is going to translate to a water depth of 3.9 meters. But just where I got the software written, it has to be put in as centimeters, entered as centimeters. So now you can see that reading there, where I'm clicking there right there. You can see that reading 3.90 meters, water depth side view. Okay, the next thing we'll do then is we'll go ahead. I'm going to click on move sensor to position 1A, and you can see the little twirly guy up there. Shows something's happening with the program when it starts moving, turning to the right. So the first thing it does is I had my graphics show. Well, I'll show it a little bit of change in orientation of the craft of these these orange arcs that I've got on representing the watercraft, part of the watercraft there on the blue dot, just pointing towards the direction I want the thing to go. And then it's going to move. It's moving well with a 5-second sample rate. It's moving to the right here till it gets to that position 1. And you can see the latitude and longitude. I've got that changing as I just picked some fictitious latitude and longitude numbers that convenient ones that were out in the ocean there somewhere. And yeah, so when we get to where we want to go here, we'll go ahead and that'll be the last reading right there now. The last position of the watercraft. Where I got sensors are off, and extend sensor pack, retract sensor pack. All these buttons down here, show side view, hide side view. These are all touch zones, eh? And we'll see how to set those up when we start getting into the how to do things in video 11. We'll show how that stuff's done, eh? Setting up touch zones and whatnot, eh? Buttons and labels and yeah, etc., etc. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this little slide down here, and I'm going to set my sensor depth setting to about 1.7 meters. It'll be around 1.7, 1.8 meters. And once it's done updating there, okay, 1.8 meters. Once it's done updating, which is okay, it has now. So what I'll do now is I'm gonna go ahead and click on the extend sensor pack, and like I said before, that little orange arc below the watercraft there, the side view, that should start dropping out here. So extend sensor pack, and I think I got it on a 5-second update, so it's going to take 5 seconds. I guess I could have the code set where it would do it right away, but there you can see it now dropping out of the watercraft, and it should be one more update, and I think it'll be in position. Maybe 2 more updates. No, I guess, well, okay, there we go. Yep. So that'll be in position there now. So now what I want to do is, I guess next thing I want to show is, I want to go ahead and click on what says sensors are off. You got the word off there in red. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and I'm going to turn the sensors on. And when I do that, again, a 5-second update. I could have it again, have it set again right away where they had update immediately. So a few changes to my code to be required. But anyway, my fictitious readings for temperature, depth, pH, and dissolved oxygen content and conductivity, and the latitude and longitude should still be updating there. And I've got a little bit of randomization put into the numbers just to make it a little bit more realistic, where there's just a slight bit of randomization where the numbers just drift a wee little bit. That's about it for that part there. Now, the next thing I want to point out is two very powerful functions with this software called hide and unhide. And you can not only hide and unhide graphics, but you can hide and unhide touch zones. As in, you can disable touch zones when you when you do a hide, which is very handy for when you're doing graphics with touch zones and graphics, eh? You can not only hide the graphics, but hide the touch zones as well. So I'm going to go right now. I'm going to do a hide side view, and there she goes. She's hidden. And then I'm going to go show ambient. That's just a little graph I put together with. There's no updating on these numbers here. I don't have anything done in the code there for updating. It's just to show that you can put a little different graphics anywhere on the screen, as large or as small as you want, by using hide and unhide, eh? Very convenient. So right now I'm going to click on hide ambient, and I'll go ahead and I'll click on show side view again. And that's about it. That's about it for that. Uh, yeah, the open page for plot select. I haven't done anything with that there yet. I'm going to get around to that. Yeah, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we'll go to video 11. It'll be 11A will be the first one. Thanks.